Okay, before I get into this video discussing sessions and session structures, please, if you haven't already watched the other videos that are on this page, but just before it, so preceding it, do go back and do that, because the reasoning as to why I am shifting my session organization and negotiation procedures are explained there, and you really do, I think, need to know the why and the sort of the overall goal of why that has shifted in order to understand what the actual sort of point of this change is. So please do that. Okay, so the way in which I previously would negotiate and outline my sessions, so the storyline of them, is probably one, if you've seen other ProDoms before, that seems, I'm going to say, probably quite familiar. So I would ask people to email me their top 5 activities that they wanted in a session, and then once they arrived in the pre-play negotiation, I would check in to make sure that all of those were still accurate. And then depending on if I thought we had any extra wiggle room in the session duration, if they asked for a couple of extras, I would add those in. And I would literally have a pen and paper to write these down. Whilst they were in the shower then, I would try to very quickly jot out a session storyline that would incorporate typically all of those activities, or certainly as many as I possibly could, in a way that seemed coherent. So that might sound familiar if you've seen other people, or if you've seen me in the past. This is not how I will be doing things moving forward though. So instead of seeking out your top 5 activities that you'd like included, what I will instead be trying to ascertain and ask you to sort of really put some attention and thought into is instead a theme or a focus or a concept to explore during the session. So that is basically what I will be doing in the first step. So my negotiations now will have 3 steps. First step is called welcoming the muse. The second step is discerning or deciding on the palette. Palette is in like a painting palette. And then the third step is becoming the canvas. So step 1, welcoming the muse. What I will be seeking when you arrive for your session, instead of your top 5 activities to tick off, is what it is that you're thinking about most at that point in time, or the thing that you just kind of can't get out of your head, or that you're really excited about now. That could be a particular activity that you want to really deep dive in, or maybe you're very experienced in this activity but you want to try and find some new and different interesting ways to incorporate it, and that can be a focus. A focus could be a particular headspace that you want to get into. Maybe you're wanting to sort of get into like a real puppy headspace. Maybe you're wanting to explore a particular emotion. So it might be shy is always the first one that comes to my head. I really like it when people are shy. But it could be I don't want to say fear because it's so typical, but maybe it's fear. Or maybe it's something that's even more esoteric and conceptual like that. So, for instance, it could be the theme of gratitude. Or it could be springtime. It's like, you please feel free to go sort of esoteric and conceptual with it if that is what feels right for you in the moment. If anything, the the thing that is very exciting about this new way of negotiating play for me as the sort of co-creator of the space is the challenge of, okay, how do I find something new in this, or what is a totally different and artistic way to reimagine this otherwise seemingly unrelated thing, or something that we've done 14 times. That's very exciting for me, and also I think is more likely to be authentic to you. If that's when you arrive, that's what you're thinking about, then cool, let's go with that. So that's step 1, which was welcoming the muse. Step 2 is sort of deciding or selecting the palette. Again, painting palette. So once we've discerned what your session focus is, and I can help you do this if you turn up and you're going, I'm not sure. I'm pretty good with asking questions to help bring that to light, but once we've found it, I will then ask you about other activities, satellite activities, that I think could be employed in order to really indulge in that focus. That doesn't mean that you have to do all of them, not at all. It's just suggestions from my decade career of experience of, okay, when I think about this, oftentimes people will also like this or this or this or this or this or this or this. So without giving too much away, I'll just give a little example to help elucidate. So let's say that you came in and the focus for the session was safety, or feeling, comforted. So the first satellite, or the palette that comes to mind, some suggestions for it are bondage, mummification, sensory deprivation or hoods, isolation items, so things that you actually sort of get locked into, squishing or trampling, full body weight things, so like lying, actually holding, that sort of stuff. And we can go on, but that gives you an example. So based then on whether you say, or which of that palette you say yes or no to, that gives me a broad set of activities that I may choose to employ throughout the session based on how you're responding to certain other things. And so having this sort of broad array as opposed to something that's just really prescriptive means that we can respond to what's actually feeling the best for you in that moment and really getting you to experience that focus or that theme that you're wanting most. So it's, a little bit more authentic, I guess, in that way. I use that word a lot. Okay, so that was the second step. Now the third step is becoming the not becoming the muse, pardon me, it's becoming the canvas. So because you will have, some broad idea of some of the activities that you might experience, but not really for sure. This gives you the opportunity, instead of sitting in a space of going, well, I know that she's going to do this next, and then this, and then this, and then this, because that's how, a typical flow of those sorts of activities works. We completely put that to the side, and instead it gives you the opportunity to, instead of trying to preempt or, sort of feel kind of just like you're going along with the motions of a session, knowing exactly what's coming next. It really gives you the opportunity instead to enjoy that, the not knowing, the excitement, all of the potentials of what may or may not occur, and really connect with the things that do happen in session fully, because you are experiencing them almost as if they're fresh, because in that moment they are. You don't necessarily know that they will be there. And not only that, it means that if something is really just really ringing your bell, so to speak, then we can follow that for as far or as deep as is, what your body and your mind and your heart are wanting. And so that's the becoming the canvas, is just letting the palette wash over you and enjoying the creativity and the colour that comes forth. So there we go. That's how I'll be doing my sessions from now on. And of course, I think it should go without saying, but I will say it regardless, all of these things will obviously be within your boundaries as we go through the negotiation as well. So exciting!